Week 1 of the NFL is back, which means week 1 of the Make Fantasy Football Great Again Fantasy League is back. The #1 fantasy league being covered by the #1 Make Fantasy Football Great Again coverage podcast is back. Let's hit it. That stuff. And honestly, some of the new designs, the black and the Saints.
I've officially given up on Taysom Hill. I'm sorry.
Welcome to the Chuck and Dave podcast.
I'm Chuck.
I'm Dave. Technically, it's the Chuck and Dave pod. I shouldn't have said podcast. This isn't a podcast.
Don't want to be misleading people. I feel like normally I'm on the other side.
Ooh, first comment by Jordan. Still awake, my friend.
Hey, he's
Cheers.
been waiting for it. He's been waiting for it. Good to be back. This is season 3 of the Chuck and Dave pod.
Not good.
Not good stuff.
Oh,
It's not
tastes
motor
like-
oil.
no, it tastes like Christmas or something. I don't know.
I don't
It's,
think anyone's ever said this tastes like Christmas. It is not.
It's like
good.
a spiced rum. It's not what I was expecting.
Okay.
Very, very odd.
Not a sipping.
Should have had a Miller High Life.
Should have had a Miller High Life. I need to buy a pack still, or case, or whatever you call them. I like in the intro there. I like that. I think those clips are from year 1.
They are.
You're at the kitchen table, and I'm in the other room. Good
Yeah.
days.
It's
Yeah,
a lot of change. A lot has changed.
A lot of change, always for the better. Moving up.
Yeah.
This is actually the 7th year that our league has been on Yahoo.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
7 years. That's a lot of stats.
There's a lot of stats.
A lot of stats. And they got 2 years on NFL as well. But Yahoo really revamped everything towards the end of last year. And it's much harder to find your history anymore. You gotta dig into, I don't know. I still don't remember. I'll remember it eventually when I do it enough, but it's kind of annoying that it's not just easy. You used to be able to just click on your profile and then go to history. And I think now you have to go to, I don't even know. I forget every single time. Oh, you have to go to overview and then go to profile. Which is annoying.
Okay.
And then for people that don't generally go to their histories 2 or 3 times a week, it's probably not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But we're back. We've drafted.
Back.
We've even had a couple of moves. Already.
Yeah. We had a trade.
We had a trade already. We had a little
drama.
of a trade. We had trade drama. We should start with that. Are you feeling better about this after it's gone down, or?
I mean, I was never again, I think I was echoing your I think I was echoing your thoughts in the fact that it's just why is this happening? I did talk to my dad about it just to see his thoughts. I wanted to see if Josh had
let's let people know what the trade is in case.
Oh yeah, okay. So for those who don't follow our specific fantasy football league or don't know because their head is in the sand, maybe Sam. The Bezoik Flemoids, owned by Josh Keller,
the commissioner
himself, offered a trade for Najee Harris for Kenneth Walker. He was going to send Najee Harris, and he would receive Kenneth Walker from my dad, the owner of the New London Blue Golds.
Which we decided is, at best, just an equilateral trade.
Yeah, it was about equal. I mean, there really wasn't. I think I would have been probably a little bit more comfortable if Josh would have traded a 9th round pick, because I seriously think that Najee Harris is a severe downgrade for Kenneth Walker. Josh said they're running back by committee. I don't really see that a lot in Seattle.
Look at the draft rankings, they're fairly close. But
yeah.
Having been an owner of Harris last year as my 3rd round pick, I was immensely disappointed with his usage and abilities to get things done.
Well, Jaylen Warren kind of took over. I feel like Najee Harris got injured, and then Jaylen.
I don't know. Even from the very beginning, I think I maybe started him in game 1 and then basically sat him the rest of the year until I dropped him eventually.
I mean, they're both pretty much RB3s, RB4s, maybe. I would say RB3 is kind of a
I would say
stretch.
Walker has more upside for sure.
So that was kind of an odd trade. But talking to my dad, he seems to like Najee Harris a lot more than Kenneth Walker. I don't know why, but
So
he was
just
like,
personally thinks that he's getting the better end of this deal.
I think he thinks he's getting the better end of this deal. So, I mean, kudos for them working out a trade. But
You can get both people walking away feeling like winners.
yeah.
But of course, in Dave's world, there's no such thing as an equal trade. So every trade should include some draft pick to help even that out.
You want some draft pick, man.
So our first trade, which I threw this out there, but it seemed interesting to me. I always thought that trades counted as a move on people's records, but it appears they do not. I thought last year we thought that they did. But
yeah, I thought so too. You'd assume it's a move, but
they do not seem to. So we've also had a couple of changes. I dropped Jalen Warren to pick up a defense because I'm not going to be.
Seattle has Cabernet. I mean, yeah, I'm sure Seattle has lots of
every team's gonna
delicious pasta dishes like carbonara, but I mean that doesn't have to do with anything with the price of tea in China, Jordan.
I believe that is a pasta mixed with a Chardonnay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's actually quite good on chicken.
Yeah.
We had the Appalachian White Lightning drop their Mr. Irrelevant, Malik Willis.
Yeah.
Before Cincinnati's defense.
That's a shame.
It's a shame. He's going to end up, Love gets hurt in week 2 and Willis comes in and carries him to the Super Bowl. He's going to regret.
Yeah, it's true.
That. And then the Bezoic Flemoids in another move moved one of their stash guys to IR and added Matt Gay as a kicker. So that's been no activity since then. The last waiver move was August 30th. So quiet. Everyone seems to be satisfied with their draft.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, which is good.
Yeah. And
that's what makes week 1 hard or the pre-week 1 very difficult to kind of analyze, is everybody feels like they got a pretty good roster started. You just so many unknowns. Like, some players who are going to be great, some that are going to be terrible. And then there's all the players in the middle who you really don't know how it's going to shake out.
Yeah.
And that leads us, of course, to after week 1, where we can significantly overreact to how.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's when you can figure out who's actually probably going to win it all just after week 1.
Absolutely. I thought it was interesting when I was doing my pro pick'em, plug for that, this week. I was filling it out. I was shocked at how many of the real life matchups are like good versus good and bad versus bad. If that makes any sense.
Oh, are you saying like
you got a lot of
that makes sense.
Expected to do well that may come out with a win in week 1 because like they're playing other bad teams. Like you got Kansas City and Baltimore, those are good. You got Philadelphia and Green Bay, you're good. But then you also have like Chicago and Tennessee. You have Cincinnati just going to trounce New England, of course, and then you got New Orleans and Carolina, Minnesota and New York Giants. I don't know how you pick that one. Seattle and Denver, Tampa Bay and Washington. You just got a lot of like very evenly matched teams. On the low end in there, which makes it very interesting for week 1.
Well, I mean, week 1 is always such a crapshoot in the beginning anyways, because it's unscouted. You have a bunch of they're just working the kinks out. I mean, how many times have we seen this team come out and blow a team out, like Chicago go and blow their opponent out, and it'll be like crazy, and it's like then they come back and like look at the Chiefs last year. They got beat out by the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, both the Chiefs and Patriots dynasties, they started poorly, and we had all sorts of talking points about how this is the year they're finally mortal again, and then they go on and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, the Packers kind of have done that, especially under
McCarthy.
No, Matt LaFleur is just him coming out, and they stink for week 1. Like how many? I still remember watching that Saints game against against Rodgers, and they scored 3 points, and we're like, oh my gosh, this team is going nowhere fast. And then we end up going to the NFC Championship game and the number 1 seed. It's just
week 1 is week 1. I would almost like to see week 1 be all interconference games.
So that kind of like how week 17 is.
No, because week 17 is all within your division.
Yeah, it's usually all division.
So this would be like all NFC versus AFC, so that it's like the least important.
Oh, okay.
In week 1, like everybody's going against people that, like, when it comes to tiebreakers.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I feel like that's what it should be.
But you always, there's divisional games even, and that's tough. I mean, everybody's in the same boat, so I guess you're all following the same rules. What do we got for divisional matchups? We got Houston and Indianapolis, New Orleans and Carolina, Chargers and Raiders.
It's this Pro Pick'ems thing now. I don't even see it on my thing.
I just got an email about it, and I said, okay.
Am I not a part of this?
Probably can get on it through what you did last year.
My
favorite part about Pro Pick'em is when I look at my history, it says 2024, and there's a gold trophy next to it. Technically, it does say Pro Pick'em on the trophy, but it's very tiny.
Interesting. Our Pro Pick'ems is not officially like I must have you got an email this year about it?
I feel like it. I think Josh invited us all at one point.
Join my Fantasy Football Pro Pick'ems group. There you go. Private group. Pick name set.
And this year, I'm not going to spot everybody 15 games in week 1. Last year, I thought it was a Survivor League.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I only picked 1 game in week 1.
Did you get it right?
I think I did. So I went 1-15 in week 1.
Nice.
And I still came back and beat Josh. So. Ooh.
All right. Oh, I'm in. Josh is still the Tharsis Jackals here. The picking puffins. I like that.
Puffins. Pick a little. Got my puffin right here.
Speaking of names, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this coming week, why don't we go over some of the changes to the names
Let's introduce the teams for the 2024 MFFGA League.
Yeah.
So we got, I believe, 4 new names and technically 5 new names and 3 same, although 1 changed at the end of last year. So the same ones, we still have the reigning champs, the Appalachian White Lightning, who felt like keeping that name, of course. We still have the Fighting Fergals, who now I believe are the longest tenured name.
Really?
In the league. I believe they've been 5 years now doing that, if I counted correctly back when. And we've got the is it stoppable? I think it's the stoppable nincompoops right now, right?
Yeah, I heard there was supposed to be this grandiose name change, though.
I would expect that around week 4.
Weren't we told that there was going to be some actual thought put into the name this year?
We were told that. I threw out a suggestion at one point. I don't remember what it was. I do like the nincompoops, honestly. I like the ninnies. I just don't like the stoppable. They need some other word in front of it.
Yeah, I feel like I like the ninnies going straight to the steer into the curve. Everybody calls you the ninnies. Just go with the ninnies. Yeah.
It's just like the Red Sox and the White Sox. They're just named after their color, their socks. It's classic. So I would expect that his name will probably change at some point when we do a special name week, and then he just changes it or something. So then we've got the New London Blue Golds, who were previously the New London Bulldogs, but tapping back into the Eau Claire roots here, which of course begs the classic question of what is a blue gold?
What is a blue gold? No one knows.
It's just a misspelling of the word bulldog.
Pretty sure. It was just we can't use the word bulldog. Well, we'll just rearrange the letters.
The blue golds. So then we have the Poning Puffins. No, the Poning Polecats, sorry. Which were a team for many years, or some iteration of them. They were the Iowa Polecats for a couple years.
Yeah.
Prior to that, has set down and rebranded into the Stud Puffins.
Stud Puffins, I like it.
Go Stud Puffins. We'll see if they stick around yearly or if I kind of enjoyed getting a new name, honestly. So we'll see.
Hey, Alex.
Alex,
you are here, but you are driving.
Oh,
just in time. We're talking about names. We'll talk about the one who's kind of been switching around a little bit.
Just as a heads up here, the Chuck and Dave pod does not condone texting while driving.
That is true.
So then we have the commissioner.
If your voice texting while driving, that's okay.
The Tharsis Jackals, after a year that apparently he thought was amazing, but everybody else thought was not terrific, has rebranded into the Bezoik Flemoids from the classic Czech cereal box disc game.
Oh, man.
What was it called? Czechs Invaders or
Chex Quest.
Chex Quest.
So for those 90s kids that grew up in the early computer era, you would get they used to give out computer video games or demos in boxes of cereal. And one of those games was Chex Quest, which was basically a reskin of the original Doom game. Except you're a Chex warrior and you were shooting these booger people.
Naturally.
I remember that game very fondly. I had a lot of fun with it.
You ever beat it?
What?
You beat it?
Oh, yeah.
Was it? Well, how would you say the difficulty level was?
It was pretty difficult.
Or a cereal box game.
Once you kind of figured out where the good weapons were, it became a lot easier. But the last level I remember being pretty crazy and hectic, and you're just like dodging bullets and stuff like that.
Was it like a bullet hell?
Well, it was like a first-person shooter. I don't know if you've ever played Doom. You're walking around and there's these like monsters shooting at you and like attacking you. And like in Doom, the guy's face would get all bloody as his damage increased.
Get all milky.
On Chex Quest, you'd get all booger, like you'd have these green slime that would like go over your face.
I wonder who was sitting at that meeting and they're like, okay, we're gonna make a Chex-based video game. What about boogers?
Yeah.
What goes with cereal?
The Flemoids.
Now here's the real question. Do any of the color bros still have the game?
The disc?
Yeah.
I don't think I have the disc. I did re-buy it on Steam when they came out on Steam.
It's on Steam.
It's like $1. It was
Really?
a blast.
Right. I guess the next color reunion is going to have to be a little Chex Quest going on.
Yeah. Well, they came out with like a multiplayer version of it, like with the newer, not newer graphics, but the same kind of like play style, but like they obviously like gave like online compatibility and stuff like that.
I will have to check out the game. I have Steam.
It's interesting. It's definitely a fun little first. Like, I mean, as a kid, we didn't really grow up with video games as a kid. I had an original Nintendo. So having like something like that was so insane. So like anytime.
The stuff that they could put out even in boxes and stuff was
it's crazy. I mean, there were so many Lego games that I got free in like full games.
And it's full like exciting to open a cereal box and actually have something in there. Now it's just like a QR code.
Oh yeah.
Scan this, see if you want.
Super.
Even Happy Meals and stuff are like junk anymore. I took Tobin to McDonald's and it's just like a pack of cards with Olympics on it.
That sucks.
Where's the Hot Wheels, man?
Well, isn't it right now a combination of you can get a doll and it's a combination of Yu-Gi-Oh and My Little Pony or something like that? I don't know, or short little.
It's time.
Bratz doll. So, I don't know. They combine two really weird.
They do the Bratz dolls at times. That'd be interesting. I don't know if Yu-Gi-Oh is the big thing right now for that. I would go to McDonald's every day of the week if they brought back the Monopoly game.
Yeah, what happened to that?
There was like a lawsuit, I think, at some point, and then it just went away.
That or bring back the Pokemon cards. Remember when they used to put
Oh,
Pokemon
yeah.
cards in McDonald's?
I would buy it for Pokemon cards. If they were like, get a Happy Meal and you get an original unopened fossil set.
Oh yeah, here you go. Here's this $1,500 pack.
It's like, make it a small fry, but yeah.
Yeah. I'll take
Heck, I'd take the Mighty Kids meal. Anyway, this show is sponsored by McDonald's.
Yeah.
We have last year's rookie team, the Doge Destroyers, who took the league by storm, almost getting the first seed, and certainly would have had the Fighting Fergals played all out. We never want to forget about that. But they took the second seed and then went on to finish bronze in the league. And then they're trying out now. Last year, I don't know if we talked about this ever, but before they were the Doge Destroyers, they were Cup My Balls.
Cup My Balls.
They're Cooper Cup, who they didn't even end up getting on their team, but he likes to pun names off of a player he has and then change it away from that. So this year he started with CD's Nuts for CD Lamb, who presumably has testicles. And then that lasted for not even a week. He got a pretty good logo even sent to him.
Yep.
Boo for what? CD's
We
Nuts?
liked you. I think he's booing maybe he's a little behind.
It's true. He's booing the Happy Meals. And so now he is Lamb of God, which is creative, but does not sound like a team name to me. Are they the Lambs of God? Are they the Lamb of Gods? Like, do I call them the gods? I don't know. The Lambs? It's just an interesting one there. Plus, the picture is still the Doge Destroyers. So I'm sure there'll still be some adjustments there. The games do not start until 7:15-ish tomorrow night. So he's got some time. And then last year's McRibbed for her pleasure is now the
sorry, we were talking about the CD's Lambs, and I'm like, why is CD Lamb on the commissioner's exempt list?
Oh, is he?
Yes, but it's only because it's an exemption so that he doesn't count towards their 53-man roster. So as long as the Cowboys deem him ready to play on Sunday, he can.
But they'll have to drop someone still, won't they?
You have to go back to D's nuts. Alex, don't be a flip-flopper. No one likes a waffler.
Yeah. No, don't go back to the nuts. I didn't love that.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Lamb of God, but
I think CD's Nuts might be better than Lamb of God, but
I think CD's Nuts might be. So if you want to go back, it is what it is. But I mean, you could do kettlebells.
Well, you could just be the lamb chops.
Yeah,
I like that.
You could be Nico's. You could do a real deep cut to Starship Troopers and be Nico's Roughnecks. Does anybody understand that? No one's seen Starship Troopers. Rico's Roughnecks. Could be Nico's Nuffnecks.
I knew Nico. I know who Nico Collins is there, but
the main character's name is Rico, and he leads a squadron at the end of the movie called Rico's Roughnecks.
He could be the Ford Toughs.
The Ford Toughs. Yeah, there you go. Built Ford Toughs.
The built Ford Toughs. I like that.
Ooh, that's good.
He was hot on Jerome Ford. Anyway.
We're mixing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. So yes,
we didn't introduce your team name yet. We're still waiting.
Okay. So to continue my long tradition and long partnership with McDonald's.
Been very fruitful. And I just bless them for sticking with you over the past few years.
Yeah, I know. You know what? They're my most loyal Cup these CD nuts. That's just a little bit much of a mouthful. No.
Every week when Dave put together his team last year and saw that the highest he could make his projection was 85, he would go get a Big Mac.
Oh yeah.
And cry.
And McDouble.
Mm-hmm.
One McDouble, one McChicken. You eat the McChicken first. You finish with the McDouble. It's a perfect combination right there. It is a perfect combo. Anyway, I am now the quarter pounders with cheese, and really the quarter pounders, or the QPCs for short.
I love the QPCs.
The QPCs.
So that is our roster this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been. So, what do you think? What's your favorite name? Not your own.
All right. I would have to say my favorite name is the Quarter Pounders. I know that you've been, it's been in the ether for a couple of years and never coming out, and I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, it's been on the back burner. That's been one of mine. Like, I felt like it was too easy of a shot. I wanted to be a little bit more creative, but and I didn't know how long I wanted to. I felt like McRibbed was gonna be. I got to take the plunge. If I wait too long, I'm gonna talk myself out of being a really good name. So
yeah, no, last year was a good year for it because we didn't have to talk about your team much. What about you?
And I mean, I could go with still the old ones, but I mean the New London Blue Gold. No, I'm just kidding. I do like the Bezoic Flemoids.
You got a lot of nostalgia there.
It's a lot of nostalgia. Really niche, but good nostalgia. If Alex changes his name to Nico's Nuffnecks, I will change mine to say Nico's Nuffnecks.
That sounds like a deal there. That could come with a trade. He might be trying to get you to send him a third rounder for that as well. Be careful. Everything Dave does has a draft pick attached to it.
Always.
I will say my least favorite name will remain the Appalachian White Lightning, just because I hate writing it out.
It is tough to write out.
There's a lot of letters.
Honestly, my least favorite is the New London Blue Golds. My dad could think of something so much better.
It's pretty boring.
It's classic. He's had the New London somethings, either Bulldogs or Blue Golds, for like since 2002. So I mean, you're talking about like
he can say New London. He can say New London. Just I don't know, something other than a B. So we got week 1 coming up. The kickoff starts tomorrow with the Chiefs versus the Ravens. And then we got a standalone game on Friday with the Eagles and the Packers. It's quite a kickoff weekend. And of course, that means that our league starts its battle.
Yes, it does.
Starts the battle. So who do you want to start with?
Let's do the championship.
What's the championship one?
Well, the previous champion, I should say. White Lightning versus the
interesting.
of God.
An interesting thing here, if I remember correctly. I don't believe anybody playing in week 1 faced that person in the playoffs last year. Because Jordan and Alex didn't play each other, I don't think. Because Alex lost to Todd, I'm pretty sure. But maybe I'm wrong. I guess.
Yeah, they did not play. I don't think they played. No, you're right.
Guess I could look real easily because I did keep track of everybody's record against everybody. Let's see. Doge Destroyers against. Was he playing Appalachian? No, they did not play in the playoffs. Nobody playing Met in the postseason last year, so not a lot of bad blood between teams here. So we've got the Appalachian White Lightning versus the temporarily Lamb of God, possibly permanently Lamb of God. And what do we got here? We got Some interesting teams. White Lightning finished in first last year. The Gods, the Lambs, finished in third last year. Let's see. What did I write it down here? Last year and all time, because Alex has only been in the league one time, they played each other twice, and both times Alex won. So Jordan has yet to beat Alex ever. So this will be his attempt to do that. However, and we mentioned this last year, Jordan has yet to win in week one during the Yahoo era.
Really?
Never done it. He's 0-6.
Oh, boy. That actually really surprises me.
It's impressive. And he's got 2 championships in there, I believe. In that time. Most of his losses have come to Josh. They have played each other the most in week one, but he's the only 0-6. The next worst is just 4 different groups. You, Sam, your dad, and Kara are all even 3-3. I've gone 4-2 in week one, and Josh, the commissioner himself, has gone 5-1 in week one.
Really? Oh.
So he's generally done well in week one. So we've got that history going against it, but I feel like this matchup is very tough. There's just so many unknowns with their players against each other. If I look down every single matchup here, it's like Jackson versus Richardson. I'd give the edge to Jackson, probably, especially since Richardson's playing Houston. You got Ayuk versus Evans. Like, who's better there?
Ayuk hasn't practiced really as much because he's been on that holdout.
You could say the nod goes to Evans since Ayuk has to play the Jets defense and Evans gets Washington.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's actually that big of a difference between Brock Purdy and Baker Mayfield, honestly. But
just so everybody knows, I did update the Pick'ems spreadsheet, and I am going to pin it.
I coach like Matt LaFleur. You lose week one. I got you there. I like the AWLs. I'm going to call you the AWOLs because this year their draft picks went missing.
So I am going to pin this message so you guys can check it in the pins, but the Make Fantasy Football Great Again Pick'ems spreadsheet is up and live, at least for week one.
Please pick. It makes it more fun.
Yeah, please do. We did enjoy that a lot last year, just kind of going through it. So,
and as a reminder, 5 minutes late is still late. You're out.
So my rules is, and you can write this down, by 7 o'clock on Thursday, I am going to try to remember to lock out all the picks. Now, if I manage to forget, and you just are able to pick between that, good on you, because I didn't remember. But I will be trying by 7 o'clock to lock this stuff out. So
make your picks on Wednesday.
Yeah, I would suggest making picks.
I gotta make my picks. They're making their picks. I make my picks.
Yep.
So continuing down here, you got Stephon Diggs versus Nico Collins. They're both on the same team. That's gonna be interesting to see how that one plays out. The only place I see an edge here when I go down all of it is I think I give the edge to Alex just because he has CeeDee Lamb and the White Lightning don't really have anybody of that caliber. And so if everyone else is created possibly fairly equal, I feel like CeeDee Lamb is enough to then top that over. The only thing that I would maybe give the edge to the White Lightning for would be quarterback, kicker, and defense.
I agree.
But I don't think it's going to be a blowout. And the projection seems to imply that.
No, it's a very close.
Speaking of that, let's look at last year. I kept track of underdog wins and favored losses. The most underdog wins. Who do you think had the most underdog wins last year?
Probably me, because I had only underdog wins.
You were tied for second. You and Sam both had 4 underdog wins. You were never a favored person.
I was never favored. Never favored once last year.
But the Polecats had 5 underdog wins
Really?
last year. And the most favored losses was the White Lightning, who were favored to win 6 times they lost.
Okay.
So just shows digging deep. Never give up. Never give up.
So who are you picking?
I'm picking the Lamb of God.
It takes away the sin of the world.
Takes away the sin.
You know what? I think I'm. Oh man, I want to agree with you. I think Anthony Richardson is going to have a really rough first day. And I think Lamar Jackson is going to have a really good first day. I think he's going to come out. KC always plays pretty poorly in the beginning. Defense is going to be ready for it. It looks like it's supposed to rain maybe on Thursday or on tomorrow night. So it's like, I'm thinking maybe he's going to be running wild.
Could be.
So I think I'm going to pick Jordan just because I think.
You think Richardson is going to fail enough to give them the window to move in and get his first ever Yahoo Week 1 win? He really wants to get the Pick'em championship this year. He's thinking.
I'm just looking over the team. It's kind of odd. He picks the same defense and kicker. Interesting. So you win by the Cincinnati Bengals and you die by the Cincinnati Bengals.
We've learned it's good to pair him up. He could have put Burrow in too, and Moss.
Although
he has a lot of Bengal players.
Yes, he does. Because I could see CD Lamb kind of going ham because the Cowboys always play really hard week 1. I'm still picking Jordan. I'm picking Jordan.
All right. Lock it in.
Lock it in.
He's got Jordan. Well, thank you, Alex. I add a few more stats every year that I keep track of.
Next, let's do the Fighting Fergals and the Bezoik Flemoids.
All right. Last year's 6th place team versus last year's, I guess we're calling it officially 7th. Officially, they finished 8th.
Mm-hmm.
They just finished the regular season 7th in the Fergals. So for this one, last year these two teams split and went 1-1, which is saying something because the Fergals did not win many, but they were able to take out the Josh's team last year. Mm-hmm. All time, however, they have played each other 12 times, and Kara has won 8 of those. So she's got Josh's number when it comes down to it. I thought here that both of their defenses could struggle.
You think San Francisco is going to struggle?
She must have changed that. I think she initially had Kansas City in there, and then
she definitely put in San Fran.
Why not? Because I took these notes on Monday night. Cleveland against Dallas, though, I think
it's going to be tough.
Could be tough.
It's going to be tough.
Dallas tends to be a very powerful regular season offense.
Yep.
I mean, obviously the kicker battle goes to Kara. I think that Hurts will probably top Stroud, though.
Think so?
I think so. I like that we have St. Brown versus Hill. That's going to be something there.
Yeah.
So I think when I looked at it here, I thought there were many places that they're pretty even on things there, but I think I give the edge to the Fergals on this one. Their team looks a little more complete to me.
Yes, I agree. I mean, running backs alone really, I think, is going to hurt Josh.
Yeah.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor was a weird keeper choice in my mind, but
it was a weird keeper when it ended up being his top running back altogether.
Yeah. So he didn't really change anything. He probably could have gotten Jonathan Taylor himself without.
So while I think that Tayller and A-Chan is probably pretty even, I think Jacobs will do a lot better than Walker.
Yep.
And then she's also got Aaron Jones, who could end up doing a lot of heavy lifting for the Vikings because they have Sam Darnold.
And DK Metcalf has a lot of upside, but he also might not be used.
I've had Metcalf in the past, and he's very up and down. He scores a lot by the end of the year, but you have to have him up in the right weeks.
And I think the tight end goes to Kara as well because
for sure.
I think McBride has a much higher ceiling. I mean, Evan Engram, I have had Evan Engram on my team multiple times because he's always just sitting in waivers.
I feel like everybody has picked up Engram on their team multiple times and then not
he's
used
a fantasy football journeyman because everybody thinks he has such a name because Evan Engram, you hear his name out there. And
I think every week, if you go on like NFL, their waiver wire article, like tight ends, who should you pick up? It's like, oh, Evan Engram. He's there. Pick him up.
Yeah, but he scores like there's many a weeks. It's like every time I picked him up, he scored 2 or 3 points, and I was like, okay, well, okay. And Njoku's out there too, so I guess I'll just like pick him up.
Mm-hmm. So well, we're in agreement here. We're gonna go with what Yahoo is predicting, and I think that it's gonna be a bit of a bigger. I think it's gonna be Fergal's winning by quite a few points. Good thing.
You think it'll
currently on right now?
Do you think Josh breaks 100?
I'm not prepared to say he doesn't break 100, but I think that Kara could easily break 130.
Yeah, she's got a strong team. She's got a deep team too. She's got some good. She's gonna be a tough out. Like she's got Devontae Adams on the bench right now.
It would not shock me to see her have a very, very good record. But last year her team looked really good too on paper, and it just didn't work out. So
I mean, when you got Devontae Adams on the bench, that's insane to me. Like
he's got some good trade bait there.
That's insane. I mean, and really, do you trade him out for Aaron Jones? Probably not. Like Aaron Jones probably has a better shot of making some more points. But I mean,
she's got some players there that she could definitely trade for if she decides she needs to patch up a hole somewhere.
Yep. Yeah, I think that'll be good. All right, let's do the Stud Puffins.
Stud Puffins versus the Blue Golds, who still have an empty slot.
You have an empty slot. He's got to update that.
So the Stud Puffins finished 4th, and the Blue Golds were last year's runner-up. The Stud Puffins, of course, sporting the classic platinum ring around their team logo for
that's pretty solid.
1 week. I'll get that platinum ring. I like that when I click on my profile and it shows it actually has expanded the chart enough that it shows you where diamond is. I don't know what it would take to get to diamond, but
you probably have to win it all, like go 12-0 this year.
I don't know. I think you have to be basically winning every game by a lot of points.
Yeah.
I'd have to have like another year like I did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What you're probably going to have.
I doubt it. So
I have here last year, the Puffins won both games against the Blue Golds. In fact, get this. I have not lost to Todd since 2021.
Woo!
I'd like to keep that going.
Yeah.
All time, we've played each other 14 times, and I've won 11 of those. So I like my history. We get Nakua versus Cup right away.
Mm-hmm.
We can judge and make all of our conclusions.
Yep.
Here. I think It should be a close one. I think it's going to be close. I assume he's going to put in Spears.
Najee. I'm assuming
Or
he's
Harris. I
putting
guess if he likes
Najee.
Harris that much, he's going to put him in, yeah.
I think Najee Harris is going in.
Yeah. Even you add in the 10 points, it moves his projection up to 104. The Jets defense is going to have a tough time against San Francisco. Even if they're a great defense, it's tough to stop San Francisco. I like my matchup against Carolina. I'm hoping that they are terrible this year. I was hoping Jamar Chase sits it out. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. I think
What do you mean sits? You thought Jamar Chase?
Well,
yeah.
Having the sit-in.
Yeah, he's having a contract dispute.
But I think he practiced today, so it looks like he's probably going to play.
Yep.
But just all around, I like my team better. I think my team looks more complete, and I'm going to go with the Stud Puffins to continue their trend.
I am as well. I mean, just in the projections alone, my dad's basically barely breaking 100 this week with Najee Harris. So I mean, he's at 104. He's the only clear winner that you have is probably Patrick Mahomes and Kyler Murray. Although Patrick Mahomes statistically doesn't play very well at the beginning of the season anymore.
He was troublesome.
Probably Jamar Chase versus Rashee Rice. I think I think Rashee Rice is a little overrated. Christian Kirk's your weak side at wide receiver right now. But I mean he has a lot of potential.
I've seen good things about him being number 1 in Jacksonville. Of course, everybody
has good potential, but
everyone's looking good in the preseason.
I remember him sitting in Kara. He was on Kara's bench kind of, but he was always this one. It's like, okay, well, do you put him in?
Mm-hmm. Well, I did a lot of thinking between him and Pittman, and I was like, Richardson coming back after such a long time against Houston's defense, whereas you got Kirk against Miami's defense. I think he's going to do better. I might get bit. We'll see. And I'm just hoping that Murray runs for a lot.
Yeah,
gets himself a rushing touchdown would be great. All right, so we're in agreement on that one too.
Yep.
And that takes us to the quarter pounders versus the stoppable nincompoops.
With a surprisingly high projection. I was actually surprised.
Yeah, this has got to be the highest combined projection, yeah.
I think he's got the highest projected quarterback, though, so.
And he probably will most weeks.
Yeah.
So for you two, last year you guys split. You went 1-1. All time, you guys are very, very even. You've had 13 matchups, and Sam has won 7, and you've won 6. So you can even it up with a win here. I think it's going to be closer than the projection is. I think it'll be by less than 7 points, personally.
I mean, I can agree. My weak spot is going to be defense. Dallas, I don't know. They scored a lot of points early last year, but
they're playing Cleveland. I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
He's got Pittsburgh against Atlanta. I mean, Pittsburgh just feels like it's going to be putting up maybe 5 points. I don't know.
Then I will say quarterback is my weak spot right now. I could probably
Love over Prescott, huh?
There's an argument to be made over Prescott. Love has a lot of upside.
I'm not saying Love's not a good quarterback to go with. I'm not sure that Prescott isn't the better one in this situation, but we'll see.
I
couldn't tell you. You should definitely switch him though.
Cleveland's defense is probably better than Philly's defense. The problem is Packers historically playing poorly on week 1. Minus last year, they kind of blew out the Bears. But the problem with the Packers also is great quarterback play is not always statistically great quarterback play. Like Love can make just the great throws momentarily, but like stats wise, he's at like 212 yards and 1 touchdown.
Well, because he would throw, and then Aaron Jones would pop it in.
Yes,
and you can be the other way. Justin Fields was an amazing fantasy quarterback.
Yeah.
Did not translate to
Because-
wins.
But so we'll see. I'm gonna stick with Love, I think, for this week 1, but
We'll see how Justin Jefferson does with Darnold.
Yep.
Good to see if McCaffrey can burst out here. We got 2 of the highest ranked running backs against each other, McCaffrey versus Hall. And Barkley versus Gibbs.
Barkley
Like that,
Gibbs.
you guys' running backs alone might outscore
Jordan. ETN versus Cook. Like,
I mean, that one's a little less tasty, but
come on, ETN is like a freaking golden god, man. Like he is like one of the greatest running backs of all time.
I think he is the Evan Ingram of running backs.
Not even close.
I've heard really good things about Drake London too. So
yeah,
I don't have as much faith in Chris Olave. So I would say he's got you in the quarterbacks. I would say you've got him in the wide receivers. The running backs are dang tight. Christian McCaffrey may well give you 100 points, but Hall plus Gibbs, I don't know if Barkley will do enough on his side. That one's, you could be some monster points there. Kelsey versus Andrews is pretty good. I think he's got the better kicker, but I think you've got the better defense. So I just think it's going to be tight, but I am going to go with the QPCs to start with a win.
Yeah, me too. Not a lot of change between us. Our
records against each other is going to come down to the AWOLs and the nuts.
True. AWOLs. I like that. The AWOLs.
Oh, you missed that. You were talking. I said I'm going to call them the AWOLs because of all his missing draft picks.
All right, Jordan.
He said he liked it.
You're still awake. That might be what you're being called. Looks like Alex made a pick. One pick. He picked me over Sam.
It's the only one he's feeling confident about.
That's the only one he feels confident about.
I just had one other stat to bring up.
Sure.
And I just think it's interesting. This will be the 5th time in the Yahoo era, which is only 7 years old, that me and Todd have played each other in week 1. It happens a lot, as it turns out. I beat him in 2018, 2019, and 2021, and he beat me in 2020. So we've got a bit of a week 1 rivalry.
Is there anybody playing in this week 1 that doesn't play each other again, or is this?
No, none of these matchups are the one-time only. I believe everybody's one-time only one is the same week. I think it's week.
Yeah, for those that don't realize this,
because I wanted that to be more in the middle. I didn't want anyone to play someone in week 1 and then never play again the whole rest of the year.
Yeah, for those that don't understand or weren't paying attention when we were talking about this, we changed the schedule quite a bit. So there is a schedule strength, kind of a strength of schedule now.
Mm-hmm.
So what's you play?
So the person that you played last in the playoffs is going to be the person that is your rival this year, and you play them 3 times. So Todd and Jordan met in the championship game. They will play 3 times this year. You and Kara met in the consolation bracket, and you will play each other.
Heck yeah.
3 times this year. So basically, whoever your last match is your grudge match. But then whoever finished opposite of you in the standings, you'll only play once. So Jordan won the championship, and Kara finished dead last. So they will only play each other once this year, which is probably good news for Jordan.
That'll help,
as it turns out. And then you will only play your dad once.
Interesting.
And Josh and Alex will only play once, and then me and Sam will only play once, although we finished 4th and 5th, so it wasn't like we were.
Yeah, you have the
most difference.
And then everybody else.
All going to go down on week 6. Week 6, I believe, will be the one-time play thing.
Yes, I believe you are correct.
I don't know what we call that week. We call it Mercy
week. It's like the
opposite week. I don't know.
International week. I don't know.
We'll come up with the name. We got 6 weeks to come up with the name.
That's 6 weeks. We'll come up with
it in the Discord if you got a good name for that week.
Yeah.
If you get picked, we'll give you 5% off at Wisco Resale.
Yeah, sure. There you go. I'll shoot you guys a coupon.
Got to have coops. And then we got rivalry week. Week 8, which is everybody's second matchup against their 3-time foe. But then everybody's first 7 weeks basically follows your same normal formula, but then it all changes, and the order in which you replay each other is not the same for everybody, which is kind of interesting. Try to throw off. I purposely wanted the what was it I was doing? There was something I was doing. Week 8, I believe, has no buys, and so I wanted that to be rivalry week, if I'm correct, because I wanted everyone playing each other at their strongest.
Week 8 has no buys?
I want to say week 8 has no buys. There's a couple of weeks that have no buys. So week 1 through 4 obviously have no buys. Week 8 does have buys. No, week 8 has no buys, and week 13 has no buys. I don't know what's going on week 8. There's something going on week 8 that they didn't want anyone to be off.
Maybe.
Not sure why. It's like the Halloween game, I guess. I don't know. So I want us all at full strength. But then week 13 is the only one that, and then obviously for our playoffs, there will be no buys.
Yeah.
For those. I was just curious a little bit here, I guess. Does anybody have a particularly bad team for buys?
I know mine week 6 was tough.
Todd's starting team right now has 3 players with week 6 and 3 players with week 12. She has 4 players with week 12 and 4 players.
My starting has 3 with 6. And then, 2 at 12. Which I think actually I play my dad at week 6.
Ooh, that'll be a low-scoring game, probably.
I do play the New London Blue Goals at week 6. Sweet.
Week 6 must be hot. I've got 3 guys on bye in week 6.
Week 6 is your
week 6 is the Chiefs, Rams, Dolphins, and Vikings.
Week 6 is your interconference game or the international game.
So not only are you playing them only once, but everyone's teams will be at their most crippled.
So you're
your one chance to take them down.
Yeah,
using your stringers. That'll be when you pull out Evan Ingram.
That's when you go with the Ingram. So yeah, who do I know I just counted. So Justin Jefferson's out that day, Travis Kelce's out that day, and Jason Sanders is out that day for me. Plus I can't use Jalen Waddle even though he's on my bench. So that'll be a little tight. I'm not losing Christian McCaffrey or anything like that. We'll see if he's even healthy at that point because Christian McCaffrey, seriously, he'll probably get injured week 2.
Good, because you have him.
I have him.
Week 12 is the other big one. Who's on by week 12? We got the Falcons, Bills, Bengals, Jaguars, Saints, and Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I would say overall, Jordan's team looks like it's not too bad by any 1 week. He's got a handful of 12s, but most of them are on his bench. He's got a few week 10s. Interesting. All right. What do you I'm going to sum it up here with I wrote down 3 of what I think might be the season's top storylines to look forward to. So for number 1, Dave and to a lesser extent Kara's draft hauls. How much advantage will they end up getting?
Yeah.
All these high picks. Number 2, Jordan's lack of draft picks. How much will this hinder him? And number 3, Alex, in year 2, does he match his first year of highs? Can he do it twice? Or will he start to regress to the mean? I don't know if you have anything that you're particularly jazzed about.
I mean, I think this is going to be a foundational year in the fact that it's this is now we get to see what draft picks, having extra draft picks really does. and it's either going to sour your mood or make you really happy. Because if I start failing really poorly, then you'll feel vindicated.
Oh, you're talking me personally.
Yes, you. But if I start crushing the league, I feel like you're going to be a little bit more sour because in the fact that this is just like, oh my gosh, because I think you'll believe that other people will try to do the same thing.
I mean, I could see Jordan trying to trade up for next year. We could end up in a system where there's like 4 teams that just swap going from top to bottom, and everyone else.
Well, those who are willing to trade, I know those are the ones that will be willing to.
It'll be interesting to watch the trade storyline. Just a reminder to everyone: I strongly encourage discussion and dissecting trades, but we do not have to be mean. We don't need to accuse. We can just dissect and discuss. And just because someone is dissecting and questioning doesn't mean that they hate you.
Yes, I did not hate actually even the trade itself. I literally just wanted to understand. I just wanted to understand what was going on there.
I think that trade perfectly showed that we're not going to just veto everything.
Nope. No one. I don't even think there was a single veto. But I mean, you guys, let's be honest. Alex tried to veto the trade where me and my dad were. I got a kicker and he got a wide receiver, and he wanted to veto that like hardcore. So I'm not actually surprised. I'm kind of surprised that Alex didn't try to veto this one.
He wasn't really in on the discussion, even, was he?
No, he wasn't. I think once the year. I feel like once fantasy football starts, or once football actually starts, Alex will get drawn back into the warm embrace of fantasy football.
I mean, I'm already there. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
See how week 1 shakes out. We got.
But everything's like
happy right now.
In the ether right now. You don't know. No. We don't know.
You know, and honestly, we won't know next week, but we'll act like we do.
Yes.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it all shakes out here, 1 week at a time, taking us to the new year.
Yep.
You got anything else to add?
No, I mean, I think that'll be the draft picks are going to be a big storyline this year. Some people will be.
I should get a stat going where I keep track of all of the ones that Jordan traded away and how many points his traded away picks got versus how many trade points he got from his round 13 picks.
That'd be a good stat to keep around.
I think it'll be pretty lopsided.
So I really think that'll be it. We will obviously see if
you think it'll play out before people try to do it? Will it be played out enough by week 7, week 8 that people are? I mean, I guess by week 7 you played everyone once. You know kind of what your team is.
Yeah.
You were done by week 7 last year.
I was done by week 7. I think I made it to like week 10 or something like that. But yeah, I know.
I don't know. I think it was like week 8. You suddenly popped out and you're like, the whole team's on the trade block. Take who you want.
I mean, there was definitely like that. Well, it was like 2 weeks before I was like officially mathematically eliminated.
It was before you were mathematically eliminated, which was very sad.
Yeah, but there was no way. Like I was mathematically eliminated in my head, and the fact that I couldn't break 100 on my projections. I couldn't break 100 on a week.
Yeah.
I don't think I broke 100 once.
Maybe you should have changed your name to the White Sox.
I should have.
They still go out and play with heart.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or contract obligations, one of the two.
Yeah, that's contractual obligation.
Well, I'm looking forward to how the year goes. See if I can get another 1 seed. 3 in a row.
That'll be I'm gonna try my best to.
I remember last year after week 1, I was ready to dunk on my team, and I was like, I think my team sucks. I think I drafted terrible.
Yeah, I remember that.
Awful.
Yeah.
After I lost by 1 point.
Yeah. I remember that.
We'll see. I'm prepared. All right. Well, good luck to everybody.
Yep. Good luck
May
out there.
everyone have good luck this week, except for Todd.
Make your pick'ems. Tomorrow I got to close it off. So
Do the pro pick 'em and do our pick 'em.
Yep. All right. See you, folks.